My topic is key issues in saving for retirement. I acknowledge that there are some people in here that have reached that wonderful stage, and I commend and applaud you. So just bear with me for a little while I address the ones not so lucky. And that chart here, what it does not or does not show is a return. I wish it did. But basically, it represents the movement of prices in Barbados since 2004, compounding at an annual rate of 6.2% per annum. When we're thinking about investments, we tend to think about returns, safety of capital, etc. But we tend not to worry too much about inflation. But that factor is very much in the background, working against our savings, because it basically is eroding the purchasing power of our savings. And if left unchecked, could lead to a reduction in our standard of living. Because what we can buy with our money today, we're not going to buy with the same amount of money in the future. So we have to take it into account. So how do we combat inflation? Because it's not going to go away. In fact, the numbers from January to September 2011 is 7%. So it's likely to be even larger. That 6% is likely to grow. We're not finding returns at that level. So how do we combat it? Well, I know you're going to find this strange, but to me, the one way is to increase your savings. If you were putting in more X, you got to put in X plus, because you got to bridge that gap. Seems strange, I confess, but I think you got to save more, because inflation is just there, eating away, reducing your purchasing power. I think the other thing you need to do is to consistently invest. I'm aware that a lot of people have taken the view, well, these are harsh times, I can take my money out and put it in a fixed interest-bearing account. Well, I feel you're going to get nowhere simply because that rate will never match inflation. So what do you do? Well, I'm here to tell you, I think one of the things you should consider is regular investments. Get the benefit of down markets where you get more shares for every dollar you invest. It's basically called dollar average costing. So I'm going to just give you an example of this, and these are numbers going to be actually taken from our growth fund. Let's look at the period November 8 to November 11. That's the price at those periods. Basically, there would have been no increase in the value of your investments. And of course, we value every Friday, so we have multiple NAVs coming in with a high of 470, low of 405. So anytime, if you were to invest at 405, you will get more shares than when you invest at a higher NAV of 470. So let's look at an example. Let's assume you put in $500 a month in that period. Every time you put in, you bought shares at varying prices. At the end of the day, trust me on the math, you would have, in essence, made a profit of $376, even though that the fund literally didn't move at all. Because sometimes when the price is low, you're getting more shares than when it's high. So when the growth fund starts to go back up again, as it will, you will benefit from that. Okay? So just reinforcing, don't stop investing because times are bad. Now is the time that you can benefit from something like this here. So we have inflation to deal with. We have a strategy, albeit a strange one, of increasing our investments. Wouldn't it be nice if we increased it in an investment vehicle that saved us taxes? We know we lost the benefit of tax advantage on mutual funds and credit unions, but there's still one up there, and it's a registered retirement savings plan, RRSP. Okay, it's designed for individuals who don't have access to a group pension plan to save for retirement. You get the advantage of the tax allowance up to $10,000 a year. Of course, there are RSPs and there are Fortress RSPs. So what is the advantage? Why are you going to rush out and buy a Fortress RSP? Well, I'll just list them here briefly. No admin charges or commissions. The charges will eat into your returns. We have none of them. You just come, you sign up, off you go. You get to decide where to invest your money. We have the growth fund, we have the high interest fund, you decide. And you switch them over time. As your risk profile changes, as you age, you can switch out of one, go ahead to the other. And there's no spread when it comes to return. Whatever that full return of the mutual fund is, you get. Now I know you're saying, well, that sounds very good in theory. There's high inflation. You obviously don't go to the supermarket. No, you don't. But I threatened to do it when my wife brought home, I'm one of 6, and my family brought home the bill. And she said, fine, here, you do it. And gave me the checkbook. Well, that was the end. But you have to make conscious decisions. Instead of drinking 5 cups of coffee a week, you drink 1. You buy your lunch, you don't buy lunch. So you can get some extra savings. So just summing up now, we have inflation is going to be with us. You got to be aware of it. You can't not invest because you're losing that time. Do it consistently and consider RSP where you can actually save on your taxes. Good investing. Thank you for listening.